Hello, this is part 2, and it also covers remote neural monitoring. From what I've said, it's apparent that the attackers are doing everything, using mainly sound, words, triggers, harassment to get your attention onto them and what they're doing and to think about it. Whoever gets a person's attention and can manipulate their thoughts, but you have to obviously give them your attention. It's another word for it is called entrainment, which is used a lot in the circles of all this technology with remote neural monitoring, etc. So the act of getting your mind, which belongs to you, which you have ultimate control of, what to do with it, and your emotions, your psyche, onto something external by somebody else's choice, means that they are controlling you. That is the beginning of mind control. If they can get your attention and make you behave in a predictable way that they've decided you will behave in, by saying certain things or being harassing you or whatever, they are controlling you. They're controlling your mind. And that is one of the ways that they start the entrainment process, to get you looking at them first of all, get your attention in their direction. And then it's to affect your mind and emotions. And it's like the getting a way into your subconscious, into your head. If you are a victim of it and you allow it to continue, then ultimately they would have control of your mind and emotions. If they're, for instance, beeping their horn outside your home every day and you start getting annoyed at it, they've got you. So what can you do? Well, from what I've discovered is that the more they do it, the more desperate they are. And the more energy that they're losing. They're the ones running around. They're the ones putting all this energy out in order to get energy back. So if what they're doing doesn't affect you, there's no energy exchange. Yeah? Now, it's easier said than done. One of the solutions, and a lot of targets claim meditation is very useful, and it is. And a lot of targets also claim that when they are meditating, the perps will do their best to distract them, prevent them. Now, why do you think that is? Because it's the opposite of what they're trying to do. Meditation is going within yourself, going within where you are now. Not going into your feelings, accepting that your feelings are there, but not taking any notice of them. And not denying them, accepting them, that they are there, that you have feelings, you're a human being, but not going into them, not making a meal out of them, and going deeper into your body where you are now, the sensation of your being where you are now, without thought. That's why meditation helps, works, because they're doing the opposite of meditation to the victim by entraining the victim. They are, one, bringing the victim out of where they are now, out of the sensation of blissful being within their body in this time and space where that body is called now, by getting the mind thinking. Because once you're in your mind, you're out of your body. And once you're in your mind, depending on what that mind's doing, in this instance, they are controlling your mind. So they're taking you out of that. So you can see how it's the opposite of meditation. Meditation is being true to yourself. It's getting back to your true being. They are taking you away from your true being by entrainment, by, for instance, like I said, beeping the horns, or, I mean, the ways that I'm harassed, multi, there's lots of them. And I'm sure it's the same for other targets. But it all comes down to you are sitting, I don't know, somewhere peaceful and quiet on your balcony, your garden, whatever, and they will start the harassment. They do not want you to have that quiet connection with yourself. Why? Because it's not in their interest. Their interest is to pull you out of that, get your attention on the outside world where they are creating all these problems for you. So then your world will be one of problems and worries and concerns. But they're just superficial. They're not real. They're synthetic. They're being manufactured by an entity. Okay, an entity. It could be a human being. It could be. I don't know about that. They're just being manufactured. They're not normal coincidences, are they? They're being orchestrated for destructive objectives. Which one is, I believe, to control you completely. Or at least in some small way, if they can get your energy off your true being and out of your true self, and what is there when you go there? Joy, bliss, peace. Everything's okay. And everything's okay because there's no thoughts. Thoughts are the problem. And they will put physical pain. They've done this with me. If you've looked at other stuff that I've put on, they've used physical pain, and I think they will do that once they realise that the psychological stuff they're doing isn't that effective. They will start to torture you in other ways, physical ways, again bringing you out of that nice peaceful place which is you. So what I've learned from this is don't go along with it. Know that all this stuff they're doing, torture demeans the torturer. It doesn't demean the person that's tortured. The person that's tortured is still at that level of consciousness that they are, unless they allow their mind to be programmed by the torturer. Then they will go to that level of consciousness that the torturer is trying to induce, such as pity for oneself, desperation. Obviously you're going to feel those things, you're human, but process them. Don't let them linger around in your aura, Don't let them... A good thing to do is to, if you have something bothering you, first thing is, what is it? Because that's how it feeds, that's how it goes on and on and on. You've got to identify, what is it? What is it that's bothering me? Why is it bothering me? And very importantly, what can I do about it? And then, what am I going to do about it? And if there's nothing you can do about it, if you can, drop it. Because otherwise, it's just a negative energy going round and round in your mind. And that's part of how they control, or try to. Again, with the remote neural monitoring, and it is that I'm talking about in this, the beginnings of it, which is the trying to get your attention, which again is entrainment, isn't it? It's like getting a link between your brain and them, so that they constantly feed crap in, and it's like they want a two-way thing. They can only have your attention if you give it them. So that is one thing. Do not give them your attention. When they start all the nonsense, you know full well what their game is. You know they're trying to get your attention. They're trying to trigger your emotions in order to get in your subconscious and control you further. They can't do it unless you give them permission. And by giving them permission, giving them permission is the act of emotionally resonating to what they're doing. For instance, Deepak Chopra says in one of his books, I'll quote Deepak Chopra, he says, if I was to insult you, you would most likely be offended. Well, of course. But you don't. He also says this, which is very interesting. You have a choice. You don't have to be offended. The emotion that somebody is trying to induce in you can be refused If you know their game, you know what they're doing, you can say it to yourself silently, I refuse it. No, I refuse that. And you pushing the energy back to them, you see. And then there's no energy exchange. If you're under this nonsense program, then what'll happen is you'll be just swamps. One of the things I've noticed is this swamp you. So as soon as you try and make some headway and you start writing things down or reporting things or finding things out or getting some success, whatever that might be in your own decision, they will just swamp you. It's like they're trying to teach you that, okay, if you do something against us or to expose us, we'll just come back 10 times worse on you. So then you've got 10 times more things to deal with and record and analyse and write down, yeah? And then if you get some of those, we'll just do 10 times more. So it's like the swamping your energy, the swamping you. They're just giving you so much input, so much stuff they're throwing at you. It's like throwing a ball. You can catch one ball, you can probably catch two if they're thrown very quickly, but one after the other. But can you catch 10, 20 balls all being thrown at you at once? No, that's what they're using. That is a technique they're using. You can catch one or two things, but you can't catch hundreds of them. And then they swamp you, you know. So one of the solutions to that is, it's basically your mind does belong to you. You can choose or refuse to give attention and energy to their provocations. It's important to not allow them to get away with it if you can. It's important to do what you think is right, to deal with the problem, the situation, and then drop it. Don't let it go round and round in your head. It's a good idea to, if something's bothering you, identify it and think what you can do about it. And if you're feeling unhappy about something, it's good to think, right, what can I do? What action can I take to do something about this? Because action is a higher energy state. And when energy is stuck, negative energy is stuck, it might just be in your body. You might not process the thoughts or what's causing it. And that's when you'll feel it as a lowering of physical energy and a negativity within yourself. And it's a way to release the blocked energy is to get moving. Is to, first of all, you have to identify it and be really truthful with yourself what it is. And also be truthful with yourself about what you can do towards that, towards a solution. And then make a plan to implement that solution. And then once you've done that, drop it. That'll clear the energy. You cannot change everything, unfortunately, but you might be able to, who knows. But once you have dropped that, once you've done it, taken action, that energy will be cleared. If it is lingering around, identify it. I'd like to recommend a writer or two writers who I've found. It depends whether you like reading or not. Some people just, they like to see things or listen to things. But if you like reading, two amazing writers which talk a lot of sense. I mean, there's probably a lot of other writers as well, but these two spring to mind are Barry Long. And he's written a book called Only Fear Dies. And there's another book, he's written a lot of books, but that one and The Way In. And they're two rocks of sanity in a target's world that is one of insanity. From outside, of course. And another writer, who's, again, is amazing, is Dr. David Hawkins. And he's written a lot of books. Truth versus Falsehood's a very good one. Power versus Force. The Eye of the Eye, within which nothing is hidden. They're all amazing books. Healing and Recovery is a very good book as well that he's written. Those are two authors that, if you like reading and you are inclined that way, the you know, because the target is put into a world of artificial insanity, and order to entrain their mind to the insanity and lower their level of consciousness and break them down and control them. Again, like I said, you can refuse that. And those authors that I've said, they are like a breath of fresh air amidst all the insanity, because they show you the real, they show you the true, and they will take you back to yourself, should you have lost it for a very short period of time, which won't be long. Okay, God bless, thank you, bye.